Oh, I can't hear her. I can see you, but I can't hear you.
Thank you. Thanks for that, James.
There you are.
Deirdre Molumby,
It looked like you were saying
entertainment.ie.
something really lovely, though.
Just my name, but if you consider that lovely. So, James, how are you doing today, first off?
I'm doing well, thanks. How are you?
Very well.
Good.
Congratulations on the Boss Baby 2. I found it really interesting, actually. This is by no means the first time you've loaned your voice to animation. And I was wondering, what do you generally enjoy about doing voice work? And did Boss Baby feel any different to, say, some of the other animated work you've done in the past?
Yeah, I think, well, this was a different experience for me because me and my 8-year-old, or who was 6 at the time, or 5 or 6 when the first movie came out, and then my daughter, who's now 16, who was whatever, 12, I guess, when the first movie came out, we were super fans of the original. So we got to experience that. I wasn't a movie I wasn't a part of at all, as fans first time around. And then the second movie came around and they asked if I'd be interested in playing the adult Tim. And I was like, yeah, I'd love to. So it's a really unique experience. Like, we started as fans, and then I got to be a part of this film. I love voiceover work. It's goofy, silly, fun. You get to wake up, put a baseball cap on, and it's you and a microphone, and whatever you can create, with whatever comes out of your mouth. That doesn't come without its challenges. Sometimes it's easier to step on a set and have your wardrobe and have another actor that you're actually looking at, and to kind of immerse yourself into the scenes more. But this is really, you rely on your imagination. And for this movie specifically, it was like, oh, just go be silly, take yourself back to what it was like to be a kid and all the freedoms of that. And, the imaginative, explorative adventures you go on. So it was a joy for me to just get in the room and play. And that's, I think, my favorite thing about voiceover work.
Absolutely, 100%. That's so interesting that you were saying, James, that you did have this kind of personal connection and history with the franchise, because Boss Baby 2, there is something very personal feeling about it. I think that there are a lot of really significant take-home messages in it, particularly around, the idea of family and connection and everything. So I was wondering, was there a particular lesson in the film that maybe you took away that kind of had a personal, that personally resonated with you?
Yeah, I think what you mentioned, I mean, it's definitely about family and the, the kind of a connection and sibling rivalry. There's a little bit of that there too, which is like, we're at each other's throats, but we still can't imagine our lives without each other. But for me, it's like, when I was doing the voiceover work, it was, my daughter was, going from being a kid to a teenager. And so I was experiencing everything that goes along with that while I was doing this movie about a father who is trying to keep his daughter from growing up too quickly. So I think the takeaway from me was like, and I think what resonates with a lot of parents is, how do we navigate this sort of emotional turbulence as a parent of my kids growing up too quickly? How do I know at some point they're going to spread their wings and I'm going to have to let them go. And you're there to prepare them for life. But, how do you manage that yourself? Like, it's a bittersweet thing. You should be very proud that your daughter or your son feels like they wake up one day and they don't need you. Like, that's an achievement. That's good. That's the natural progression of things. But it also is the ending of a chapter. And it's like, you have to be okay with saying goodbye to that part of their lives. And knowing that it was going to come to an end. But yeah, that's, I think, the hard thing. It's like, how to, this idea that kids nowadays do grow up a little too quickly, in my opinion, but, you're just figuring out how you manage through that, right? Like, you can't control it all. You have to sit back and guide them and love them along the way and be willing to let go. And that's always like, oh, that's something for every parent can just understand.
Absolutely. My very last question for you, James, just looking at kind of the family-oriented projects that you've done of late, we are so excited for Disenchanted. I'm from Ireland myself, and I know that you've shot the film over in Ireland. So can you tell me a bit about what the shoot was like and how you
Oh, it
enjoyed
was
coming over
fantastic.
here?
Well, yeah, no, we've been, trying to make this movie for 15 years now, and we weren't getting younger during those 15 years. So it's like, all right, we got to do this now, or else we're going to be too old for this. And it was when they said we're shooting in Ireland, I was like, oh, this is fantastic, terrific. I'd been lucky enough to be, I went to Ireland only one other time in my life. It was like about 15 years ago. Oh no, it was longer than that, 20 years ago, for a TV pilot, and went to Dublin as well. And I had such a great time. The people were so lovely and so welcoming and so genuine and happy. We were there during like the peak of summer, and it was actually hot. Wow. I brought all these clothes to like jackets and coats, and I was boiling. It was like, and the people there were just so happy that it was like they could go to the beaches and enjoy themselves. But for me, it was like, I got to go to a pub. I got to have a Guinness. Kind of all obvious things, but I just love it there. I think the people there are so pure and so welcoming and so lovely, and they do genuinely seem like happy people. And I just, I think Ireland, when you go to visit, it's like, I can't imagine many people leaving without the feeling of, I need to get a place here. I want to absorb more of this and have this be, my lifestyle more. Anyway, it was a joy. It was still somewhat locked down a little bit, but just some of the kindest faces I've ever seen, and just the most welcoming group of people I've ever, come across. It was great. I was only there for a couple of weeks, so I wish I could have extended that longer.
That's a lovely note to leave it on, James. I'm afraid I'm out of time, but congratulations again. We're so excited for Disenchanted, and well done on Boss Baby 2. I think the families are going to love it.
Oh, good. Very, very kind of you. Thank you so much.
She can talk.
All right.
I'm in the family business, and now you work for me, boomers.